It doesn't mandate anything. And matter of fact, everything that it says in the law is legal right now and has withstood reviews from the judiciary, and it's okay. But so then the next question is, so why are we doing it?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if you want to ask me that.
Why are you doing this, Senator?
Thank you for asking, Mr. Chairman. The reason we're doing it is because there's a lot of uncertainty within the school systems as to is it permitted or not. So this is providing a level of clarity for them, so they can, if anything, a level of protection that they can celebrate the traditional winter holidays without fear of retribution.
My memory was there was a kerfuffle in some part of the state this past year about something around this issue. Is that correct? Yeah, there was a.
Yes.
This came up as an issue.
Yes,
yeah.
And we were about to be the second state to present this legislation. Texas did it last year.
Okay.
I followed them through the process. I followed the review, and I'm not going to lie, I pretty much plagiarized what they did in Texas. Unfortunately, we were an hour from being the second state. We're the third state now because Indiana has passed the same legislation, and it's currently in the, if I'm not mistaken, in the House side in New Jersey. I read the New Jersey bill, and it's exactly the same as this one with a little bit of New Jersey ease at the bottom of it. You know, which exit you live on, that type stuff. But the rest of the verbiage is exactly the same.
All righty. Any questions for the senator from members of the committee? All right, seeing no questions, we do have, thank you, Senator, we do have one person signed up to speak on the bill, so we'll have him come up this time. Chad Brock, ACLU of Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. The ACLU comes before you today to oppose SB 283, but really to oppose Provision B in 283 as it pertains to religious displays. You know, to our knowledge, there have been no lawsuits against teachers in this state for using a traditional holiday greeting such as Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa. Certainly our organization would not initiate a lawsuit against a teacher for simply using a holiday greeting. And so that is already protected. If you want to pass a bill that clarifies that, that is certainly your right to do. What we're concerned with in Section B is that it outlines this formula that if school districts put up a religious display plus one other religious display or a secular symbol, then they're fine. Then they're protected from federal lawsuits, and that no federal court, according to SB 283 passed in Georgia, no federal court shall be able to find that they violated the Constitution. That is just simply not the case. It couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. When the courts have looked at whether displays are constitutional, they look at a whole range of issues, and particularly in the K through 12 setting, they recognize that kids are far more susceptible to religious indoctrination and the establishment. You know, they're far more, you know, they give it a great deal more scrutiny than they would outside of the K through 12 context. So what we're really concerned with is that school districts around the state are going to say, hey, SB 283 just passed. We can set up a display with a manger and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or a Star of David and Santa Claus. And by this law, they say that you can do that. And then they say that we're going to be protected against lawsuits. It's just not the case. You go to federal court, the federal court isn't going to care what this body passed in SB 283 to say what was constitutional and what was not constitutional. So the short of it is we're going to send the signal to local school districts that they can set up these symbols. Someone's going to mess up and set up a symbol that offends somebody. They're going to bring a challenge, and if they're going to lose in federal court, and it's going to be the school systems paying out the money and the local taxpayers paying out the money. The state's not going to sweep in and defend them. when they get sued, it's going to be the local districts that suffer. So provision A, allowing teachers, reiterating that teachers have a right to use holiday greetings, hey, that's fine. Section B, saying that if they follow the magic formula set forth by the state, then they're protected for lawsuits, that's just wrong, and it's sending the wrong signal. So I'm happy to take any questions.
I do have a question from, looks like Chairman Benton. Let me see if I can make the magic thing work here. Chairman? All right, let me go. See if I can work it.
To my knowledge, the Indiana bill just passed in a matter of a month or two ago, so I'm not sure that either one have been challenged at this point, but I just know what the Supreme Court has said clearly on religious displays and on public grounds, and it's a more fact-intensive analysis. I'm not aware of any Supreme Court case in which they've set forth the formula used in this bill and used in Texas and Indiana to say that those provide the absolute protection and the absolute final determination as to whether something's constitutional or not. Sure.
A display with a manger scene. But in another homeroom, you've got a little more diverse group of kids in there, and you've got some Jewish children and some other groups that celebrate winter holidays, and they decide they want to do something. Are you saying that would not be legal?
Again, the courts will look at a lot of different factors in making that determination, but there could be a case made that, really what it boils down to, are you pushing any certain religion or any group of religions? So the courts have said that endorsement of two religions is no better than endorsement of one religion. So if you have a Star of David and a manger scene side by side, if it's still pressed upon the children in a way that appears to be, encouraging a religion or following a certain religion or two religions or three religions, it depends on how those symbols are used. Just having different symbols from different religions doesn't automatically cure it of any constitutional defects. And the thing is, it doesn't really matter what we all think. We might all think that the Supreme Court has been off base for 50 years and that they have gone way too far. But, the way it is now, it's just this provision B just isn't going to, it's not going to protect school systems. And I think that by passing the law in its current form, we're going to be sending the signal that they are protected.
Chairman Dixon.
But I think that it's a different situation if you pass a law that invites lawsuit upon the state, and it's the state attorney general's office who's going to be defending you, and the state made the decision. That's a completely different situation than sending the signal to the Whitfield County school system that it's okay, and Whitfield County gets sued and drugged into expensive litigation for simply following what the state legislature told them was okay. And they're going to have to pay for it, and the local taxpayers are going to have to pay for it, and whatever local council they have an arrangement with is going to have to litigate this thing.
Any further questions? Thank you, Mr. Brock. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Any further discussion from members of the committee? Anything you need to close with, Senator? You good? All right. The chair's ready for a motion at this time. Motion? Got a motion from Representative Nix. Have a second? Second. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Bill moves to full committee. Senator, work with me. It may be tomorrow, but it may not be. You'll just let me know. All right. Thanks. And we are adjourned. Thank you, guys. Yeah. I mean, I think without any testimony, we can do this in like 2 minutes.